I'm Andrew Levine, the CEO of Koinos Group, creators of the Koinos blockchain, the first truly feeless blockchain with proof of burn decentralization. In my last video titled Where Are All the Social dApps, I explained why Ethereum and Steem haven't been able to deliver a mainstream social decentralized application despite taking two very different approaches, and how this makes the solution seem obvious. Why not combine the feeless system developed for Steem with the flexibility of a blockchain with smart contracts like Ethereum? Then we could give developers the best of both worlds, enabling them to create free-to-use applications with the freedom to add new features whenever they want. Dan Larimer was trying to do exactly that and combine the best of Ethereum and Steem when he resigned from Steemit to develop EOS for the company Block One. 4 years later, today, he's releasing Fractally, a new social application on EOS. So let's explore why no one else has been able to build a mainstream social app on EOS. Block One, the company Larimer founded and led as the CTO, invested $150 million into their own social application Voice, which they released on a separate blockchain, which was odd since the entire purpose of a general purpose blockchain like EOS is to host any application. The problem with Steem, the first feeless and social blockchain, also developed by Larimer, was that it was its own separate blockchain, and so it didn't benefit from the kind of developer and user adoption that Ethereum did. So it should come as no surprise that Voice also failed to deliver. And that's probably why Fractally is now launching on mainnet. Larimer says that the secret to Fractally's success now will be a fractal governance system, but that doesn't explain why the very inventor of the platform seems to be the only one capable of finally delivering a good social application on it. So what happened with EOS? Combining the best of Steem and Ethereum was a good idea. The problem was what he took from Steem. Those things might seem small, but they actually have incredible consequences that EOS is still grappling with to this day. On Ethereum, users just have addresses, similar to Bitcoin addresses, which are a long string of numbers and letters that are free to create because they don't take up any network storage, which means that they don't have a cost that needs to be paid by someone, whether it's the end user or the developer. Steem was a social application, so they decided to give users centralized accounts with human-readable usernames so that they could be used to manage frequent interactions and be easy to remember. But unlike Bitcoin or Ethereum addresses, these accounts consumed network storage. The centralized accounts on EOS are very similar to those that Larimer developed for Steem, and they are a target for hackers. So every account had multiple addresses with different authorities so that the user wasn't always exposing their most important private keys. This takes up even more storage, increasing the cost even more. Another thing EOS took from Steem was a heavy reliance on the most expensive form of storage possible, RAM. This means that EOS users don't just need to buy accounts, but those accounts are going to be inherently expensive because what you're really buying is the RAM needed to store that information. So what we're seeing here is that feelessness is clearly not a binary. EOS, like all feeless blockchains that we know of, are feeless to a degree. Feeless except for accounts. Feeless except for smart contracts. And because smart contracts also consume network storage, that means buying more RAM. EOS is by no means the only blockchain that takes a highly conditional approach to fees. In fact, when we left Steem and evaluated all the options, we couldn't find a single blockchain that didn't introduce fees at some point in the user experience. That's precisely why we decided to build an entirely new blockchain framework from scratch, because all of these blockchains design fees into their very foundations. We needed an entirely new foundation built for true feelessness, no exceptions. For us, true feelessness means that a user should be able to begin using the blockchain without having to pay anything, period. Simply holding a cryptocurrency should allow you to use the blockchain without introducing any friction at all. The system we outlined in our Mana white paper does just that, and a prototype of that system is already running on the Koinos testnet, with version 3 launching soon. Mana is a feeless and multi-dimensional alternative to Ethereum's gas. Just like gas on Ethereum, everything a user does consumes mana. But unlike gas, users don't have to spend their crypto every time they want to do anything. That's a feat. On mana-based blockchains, every liquid token is born with mana inside of it that is consumed down when the user transacts, but which regenerates over time. Once any of the mana in a token is consumed, the token is automatically locked until the mana regenerates. So Mana is a decentralized system for charging users in opportunity cost so they don't have to spend tokens to use the blockchain. It's truly feeless. But doesn't that mean users still have to buy tokens in order to use the blockchain? Isn't that paying to use the blockchain? That's why Koinos is designed to allow developers to pay the mana consumed by a given contract. With address-based accounts and the ability to pay a user's mana, this allows developers to onboard people into their application and begin using the blockchain without having to pay a fee, period. The developer isn't losing any money. They're temporarily locking their tokens so that they can grow their user base faster by removing barriers to entry and focusing on user experience instead of dealing with fees that are built into the very foundation of their dApp. The developer experience on mana-based blockchains is already infinitely better than anything else out there, but it gets even better when you consider how large stakeholders could deploy their own mana to attract high-quality developers to the platform. Just as developers can choose to pay the mana needed by their users without diminishing their token balance, large token holders can let the developer set them as the mana payer. This allows the stakeholder to deploy their capital to support growth, but without losing any money. If the stakeholder provides their mana to a developer whose app adds tremendous value to the platform, then the value of their holdings will go up. If the developer's app doesn't create value, that stakeholder has an incentive to give their mana to a developer who is creating real value. We have now figured out not only how to make a dApp free to use for the end user, we've made the blockchain free to use for developers while also giving large stakeholders a way to invest in growth and value creation without sacrificing any of their token holdings. But EOS doesn't use mana. It has a complicated system that requires users to consciously stake their tokens in exchange for 3 different things: CPU, network, and RAM. Today, Dan is releasing the white paper for Fractally, so it'll be real interesting to see how he's overcome these challenges with EOS. Every software product has its strengths and weaknesses. My goal here isn't to criticize EOS, but to explain why the dApp landscape is the way it is and how the architectural evolution of blockchain technology has resulted in the limitations that are preventing mainstream adoption. After all, those who do not understand history are doomed to repeat it. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about Koinos and Mana, head on over to koinos.io. And if you'd like to schedule a free consultation with my company, Koinos Group, about how you can build an insanely great free-to-use decentralized application, then head on over to koinos.group. Thanks again.